Let's rewind the clock to the start of the season. Luka Doncic shows up to camp, and almost immediately, he gets hurt. Now, I'm not a doctor, I don't claim to know everything about the injury or how serious it was. But one thing's clear, the frustration around Luka's condition started right there. The Mavericks weren't just concerned that he got injured, they were frustrated. It felt like they were expecting him to show up in peak form, fully ready to go, and when he didn't, the whispering started. You could sense it, behind closed doors, in media-friendly leaks. This idea started circulating, maybe Luka wasn't ready. Maybe he didn't take the off-season seriously. After the injury, of course, he's sidelined for a bit. He misses game action. He's not in full rhythm. And then, the talk intensifies. He's out of shape. He's not conditioned. He looks sluggish. Now look, any athlete coming back from an injury is going to need time. Conditioning isn't instant. But this wasn't framed as a normal recovery. This was framed as Luka's fault. Like he'd just spent the summer sitting on a couch with a bag of chips, instead of rehabbing or staying ready. And here's the kicker, Luka is known for playing through injuries. Teammates, coaches, fans, everyone who's really watched this guy knows that. If he can walk, he'll play. If he's limping, he'll still put up 30, 15, and 10. That's just who he is. But suddenly, that didn't matter. The conversation wasn't about his toughness. It wasn't about his talent. It wasn't even about recovery. It became one thing, Luka Doncic is out of shape. That moment, right there, is when the narrative took hold. A subtle shift. Injury turned into blame. And just like that, Luka was no longer a superstar coming back from a knock. He was a problem. A lazy player who didn't care enough. That's where it all started. Let's talk about where this whole narrative really started gaining traction. Because, yeah, ESPN ran with it. NBA Twitter had a field day. Talking heads threw out hot takes like candy. But the real seed of the Luka is out of shape storyline? It didn't start with fans or media. It started within the Dallas Mavericks. Let's rewind to before the trade, before the media frenzy. Nico Harrison, the Mavericks GM, along with others in the front office, they were already laying the groundwork. Subtle quotes in press conferences. Quiet suggestions that Luka wasn't fully committed. That he wasn't doing enough off the court. No direct blame, of course. Just enough smoke to suggest there was fire. And here's the important part. This wasn't about Luka being truly out of shape. This was about protecting themselves. The front office needed a narrative to cover their own mistakes, especially a trade that, let's be honest, didn't work out. So what did they do? They fed the media a storyline. Something simple. Something that would stick. Luka's the problem. He came to camp out of shape. He's not disciplined enough. And just like that, the public conversation turned from bad front office decisions to bad player behavior. And the media, they ate it up. Because it fits the mold. Luka's not ripped like Giannis. He doesn't have LeBron's frame. He doesn't look like a bodybuilder. So saying, hey, he's gotten fat, becomes believable, even when there's no real evidence. Take that viral tweet. Luka in Dallas was 270 pounds. No source. No stat. Just a tweet. And yet, it gets over 20 million views. That number alone gives it credibility. People see the likes and shares and assume it must be true. That's the internet today. Repeat a lie enough times, and it becomes truth. And don't miss what's happening behind the scenes. The Mavericks pushed this narrative to give themselves cover. To distract from team-building flaws. To shift focus away from coaching questions. To justify trades that didn't pan out. It's a classic strategy, scapegoat the star. And the sad thing is, it worked. Instead of talking about how Luka carried the Mavs year after year. Instead of talking about how he needed more help. The story became, Luka's out of shape. Luka needs to grow up. Luka is holding this team back. Let's be clear. Luka Doncic didn't suddenly forget how to be elite. He didn't stop caring. He didn't suddenly become lazy. The Mavericks needed a fall guy. And Luka, their best player, was the easiest target. So here's where things start to fall apart for the Luka is out of shape crowd, because the numbers don't lie. And Luka Doncic, he's been hooping. Let's start with the basics. Since the beginning of March, and we're talking about a solid sample of 18 games, Luka has been putting up 29.7 points, 8.2 assists, 8.2 rebounds per game. And he's doing it on 44% shooting, 40% from 3, and 82% from the line. That's elite-level production. Not above average. Not pretty good. Elite. But let's break that down further. During that stretch, he ranks 3rd in points per game, 5th in assists, 5th in rebounds, 2nd in steals. Now tell me, how many fat, lazy, unconditioned players are putting up top 5 numbers across the board? How many guys are dragging their team into the playoff race with this kind of consistency? But sure, Let's keep saying Luka's not in shape. Let's keep pretending he's the reason things go wrong. Because the reality, he looks exactly the same physically as he did last year. And the year before that. Same build. Same conditioning. Same game. If you take clips from 2023 and put them side by side with now, it's almost identical. So what's really changed? Not Luka. Not his play. Just the narrative. And we have to ask the real question. What does in shape even mean when you're dropping 30 a night, logging heavy minutes, and still controlling every aspect of the game? Some guys are built like track stars. Luka. He plays like a chess master with a football player's frame, strong, deliberate, efficient. He's not sprinting for 40 minutes. He's manipulating every possession. The Fat Luka label isn't based on performance, it's based on optics. On body type. On perception. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because now we're not judging athletes on how they perform, we're judging them on how they look. And meanwhile, Luka is leading the Lakers in wins, in production, in plus-minus. He's doing exactly what superstars are supposed to do, and more. This isn't a guy you bench. This isn't a guy you blame. This is a guy you build around. And the truth is, if anyone else in the league, especially someone with a leaner frame or a different jersey, put up these numbers, they'd be crowned an MVP candidate. Luka does it. He gets called a liability. So let's stop pretending this narrative is rooted in facts. Because the stats, the footage, the wins, all tell the opposite story. Here's where things get interesting. Because Luka's not just battling teams on the court, he's battling perception off of it. And that perception, it's not built on what he does. It's built on what they say. I'm talking about the NBA media, the talking heads, the hot take artists, the ones who live for narratives. And if you've been paying attention, you know the media loved Luka, until he put on a different jersey. A year ago, Luka was the golden child. Top 5 player. Best young talent in the league. He's the next face of the NBA. No. He's out of shape. He doesn't care. He's holding the team back. What changed? Not the stats. Not the effort. Just the location. Just the narrative. You see, playing in Los Angeles isn't like playing in Dallas. In Dallas, you're the hero. In LA, you're under a microscope. And when things go wrong in LA, the media needs someone to blame. They're not going to point fingers at LeBron. They're not going to criticize the front office. So who gets the spotlight? Luka. Guys like Kendrick Perkins and Jay Williams, they don't need facts. They don't need game tape. They just need a narrative. And right now, the Luka narrative sells. Doesn't matter that Luka's leading the team in nearly every category. Doesn't matter that he's the reason they're even in the playoff mix. The media sees one average game, or one team loss, and suddenly, he's the problem. He's not committed. Maybe LA isn't for him. And let's talk about that tweet. The one that claimed Luka weighed 270 pounds in Dallas. No article. No evidence. No quote. Just a number thrown into the void. And guess what? Over 20 million views. Because that's how fast a lie can spread when it fits a convenient narrative. You repeat a phrase enough times, he's out of shape, he's lazy, he's not focused. And eventually people stop questioning it. It becomes truth. Even when it's completely divorced from what we're seeing on the court. And this is the danger of media bias. It's not just wrong, it's misleading. It shapes how fans view players, how teams treat them, even how history remembers them. Meanwhile, other players? LeBron's having off nights. Silence. Other stars underperform, it's a team issue. But when it's Luka, his weight, his effort, his mentality. So let's be clear, this isn't about basketball. It's about narratives. And right now, Luka Doncic is caught in one that the media refuses to let go, even when the facts scream otherwise. Alright, let's put the noise aside. The media takes, the fake weight tweets, the hot air conditioning critiques, forget all of that. Let's talk impact. Let's talk reality. Because since March, the exact same stretch of games where everyone's been tearing Luka down, he's been carrying this Lakers team. The Lakers' best player in terms of plus-minus? Luka Doncic, plus 105. That's not just the best on the team, it's one of the best in the entire league. Want some context? Dorian Finney-Smith, plus 82. Jackson Hayes and Gabe Vincent, plus 20. Austin Reaves, plus 14. And LeBron James, minus 33. So let's get this straight. The guy who's supposedly the problem, he's plus 105. The guy the media won't criticize, he's minus 33. And yet somehow, it's Luka who's dragging the team down? You see, if Luka were still in Dallas, same playstyle, same stats, same everything, the media would be hyping him as a dark horse MVP candidate. The next great European star. The best player under 30. But now that he's in LA, under the brightest lights in the league? He's a scapegoat. And this isn't new. Big markets love a savior, until they need someone to blame. And Luka, he's easy to blame. He doesn't smile for the cameras like some guys. He's direct. He's emotional. He's different. And that makes him a target. The truth is, Luka's playing with intensity, skill, and heart. The same as always. His jersey may have changed, but he hasn't. Same body. Same skill set. Same commitment. The only difference? The narrative. If the media had even a fraction of the integrity they expect from players, they'd be talking about Luka's playmaking, his leadership, his will to win. Instead, they're too busy counting calories he's not even consuming. So here's the bottom line. You can nitpick his body. You can question his fitness. You can twist the stats. But you can't hide the truth. Luka Doncic is a top-tier player in this league. He's not out of shape. He's not lazy. And he's not the reason the Lakers lose. He's the reason they're still in the fight. Thanks for watching. Don't believe the noise. Watch the game. And as always, stay sharp.